Hello, hello. How are y'all doing tonight? Or this morning, rather. I'm saying tonight because I work evenings. Mutakoshi, I think that's how you pronounce that. Hi. Welcome to my stream. Glad you can make it. Hold on. Should probably silence this. Okay. How is everyone's morning? 'Cause at least for me, it's morning. And if it's not morning for you, then how's your day? Or nights? Switch over to this. Discord reactive, you are unnecessary right now. Okay, so it's just super zoomed in. Hold on. Why is everything trashy? I specifically... There we go. Let's see here. That's at least a bit better. Hello, hello. Oh, you are... Yeah, okay. Should have expected that. That was gonna happen no matter what I did. But welcome, everybody. Like I said, how's your morning? Or like I said, day, but it's not morning for you. I am doing good myself, personally. I didn't sleep. It is, because I started this at what is, I guess 9. I was going to say 9:30 because that's what we planned start time, but I always like to start a bit early because I'm a bit of an early bird. That's just how I am. But yeah, so I didn't sleep. I was up all night, had to protect my friends from some demons, you know how it goes. Daily life of an adventure type stuff. But now I'm glad to be here. And why is my model doing that? Jeez. You think once you set it up, it would just be good. But of course, it's not how OBS works. Not any of this works. I don't know why I expected it to work like that. Alright. But yeah, no, today we are going to be going over, of course, getting to know me. Because this is my official debut. I've technically done streams before this on YouTube, but this is my technical full debut for streaming, and especially on Twitch. Especially, this is my technical first stream. I did one stream before this on Twitch, but it's deleted by now, so no one will know. But yeah, this is my first official stream on Twitch, and my first official stream as a VTuber. As you can probably tell by how untrained and scuffy I am. I'm just super excited. Today is a little nervous, not gonna lie, but I'm super excited to get into this. I am trying to stretch it out a little bit, though. Don't worry, this cup is wholesome. Yes, indeed. As a lot of my a lot of my new friends have been saying, it's not a VTuber stream if it's not a scuff stream. But yeah, no, basic plan for the day is I have a PowerPoint here we're gonna go through in a bit here. I just kind of want to give time for people to come in, because I did do a bit of promo. Nothing too crazy, though. So give people the chance to, wake up, because I know this is kind of an early streaming time. Most streamers do this in the afternoon. Again, at least my time afternoon. I guess it's different for everyone, depending on their time zone. But, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna be, just having a little bit of warm-up, give people a chance to come in if they're gonna come in. And also just, a chance to talk with you guys, warm up a little bit. Warm up my talking skills, hopefully, because I'm not looking forward to this. I don't normally talk about myself super often. So, having to do it now for stream is a bit daunting, not gonna lie. But we're gonna work through it. It's gonna be fine. Probably. Yeah, we're gonna do this, warm up, go into a PowerPoint, and then after we get through the PowerPoint, which is basically just gonna go through where I've come from, who the F I am, a little bit about my design, all that good stuff. And then after that, we're going to be going into, yes, a PowerPoint. I actually have a Google Slides PowerPoint. It feels like I'm in high school again. I kind of in the good way. I love making PowerPoints in high school. So yes, I put together a PowerPoint for this. Because otherwise, I'd be a scattered mess. But yeah, we're gonna go through the PowerPoint, and then after the PowerPoint, once we're done with all that, we're gonna have a time for questions. If anyone has further questions beyond what was covered in the PowerPoint. Because I don't know what people want to know about me. Like I said, I don't even want to talk about myself, so I don't know what people would want to ask. So that'll be at the end of the PowerPoint. And then after that, we're going to get into a bit about my future. Because I think I'll cover this more later, but I really believe in tarot. I believe that no true randomness exists. Like I said, I'll expand on that later. And so I really do think that there is something to tarot reading. What that is exactly, I can't say, and nor will I try and say. But I do believe there is something to tarot and the randomness of it. And so I do have a tarot reading. I have a specific tarot reader that we're going to be looking at, and because I have a video that's going to be posting later today, like in a couple hours here. So we're gonna go through my past, go through what I am currently, and then we're gonna see into my future. And then it's gonna be fun. Thank you, Phantom, for the follow. I saw that. But yeah. Like I said, we're gonna give people a chance to pour in here, and then we'll get into the PowerPoint. Like I said, I'm delaying. I don't wanna talk about myself. This is my own stream idea, and I don't want to do it. I suppose there's no point in delaying it for too long. I just gotta remember which scene it is. I think I should be able to use this scene. Yes. Why am I over there? What is... I love OBS. That's a lie, I hate it. But I love it. That should be a good position. You guys can see it. It's VTuber Streamer debut. I'm not exactly promoting rocket science here. You can figure it out. But yeah, like I said, this is an actual PowerPoint in Google Slides. Because I am a nerd. I am a nerd and a geek, as I've been told. Sorry, my eye tracking's a little weird, by the way. I've never quite figured that out. I'm just on a crappy old webcam. But yeah, so once again, for people coming in, how was your morning? Or if it's not morning for you, how's your day or night? I suppose I can't delay it any longer, can I? Alright. Welcome, everybody, to the VTuber stream debut. Let's get into it. I gotta be on the right tab. Okay, well, there we go. Alright. This is my reference sheet for my character model. As you can see, I messed up. Because, spoiler alert, all the art, especially well, not all, but most of the art, especially the art for my model and stuff, was entirely done by me. I'm an artist. Hi. If that doesn't... I feel like that says a lot about me already. But, yeah, so this is my character. I designed it, so I know everything. And yes, I even rigged it, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, this is my reference sheet. As you can see, I kinda messed up a little bit. I drew the ears wrong. They were supposed to specifically be golden retriever style ears, and I don't know what the fuck ears those are. But I messed up, as you can see on my model. I fixed it for the final model. That's what matters. But I kind of hate that I ruined it on the reference sheet, so I gotta fix that. And we'll get more into the specific details of this later. I just wanted to show you guys the reference sheet. But going on to credits, like I said, I did everything for my model. The one thing I didn't do that you guys will see that's relevant to the stream is my stinger transition, the flame transition you've seen a couple times by now. That was done by... I don't know how to pronounce their name either. Spvwvky. That's my Spvwvky, maybe. I don't know. But, and it wasn't like commission or anything, technically. It was literally just free on their Ko-Fi. And I really liked it, so I grabbed it. I will get a more unique one eventually, but I just ran out of time. I was actually animating one, but I ran out of time. Because a bunch of shit happened that we'll get into. But yeah, so that's the one thing I didn't make that you guys will actually see on stream. Other noteworthy credits, which I can just go ahead and slap in the credits, I believe, because I have chat commands. Oh no, is that not working? Oh dear. I don't have the tab for that right now. It's on the tab with my slideshow. That's embarrassing. Anyway. But, basically it was just them, Spvwvky. And then, it was them, Spvwvky. And then I have another friend, the amazing Spvwvky, who helped me do my, Twitch panels. My current Twitch panels. And they also helped me set up my Twitch and a couple other stuff. So, but, you know, that's not fully relevant. I mean, it's relevant, don't get me wrong. They did amazing work. But, you know, you're not going to see them on the stream. You're not going to see them unless you go to my About page, so... And they're credited there. So... I don't know. But yeah, so Spvwvky and then Spvwvky are the people that helped me with the other stuff. But pretty much everything else was done by me, except for the music you're hearing. The music you're hearing is some kind of Celtic music background on YouTube. But yeah, so the art, this is more specifically for my model, what you're seeing on the slide right now. But where's my mouse? Okay, yeah. The credits that you're seeing right now are more specifically to my model though, because the art for my model was done by me in Krita, which is a free art program. If you're an artist and you need an alternative to Photoshop, Krita is it. It is amazing. I have a lot of friends who also use Krita. It's great. I love it personally. And then, like I said, the actual model was done by me as well, and the VTube software I'm using is in VTube Studio. And then I did also do the rigging for my model, which that was in Live 2D Cubism, which was honestly really fun to learn. I really loved learning Live 2D Cubism. I actually used it for a lot more too. I have a Be Right Back screen as well. I can show it, why not? I'll show it real quick. Go to my BRB. Yeah, so that's my BRB screen. I think, is my mic still on? Yeah, okay, my mic's still on. But yeah, so this is my BRB screen, and this was also animated in Live 2D Cubism. So I'm really proud about that. But yeah, so that's just a bit about me there. So yeah, I did it. I did everything. Except for, like I said, the stinger transition and my Twitch panels. Aside from that, I did the backgrounds. I did all that. But yeah, and then, I was gonna say, one of them's not showing up. But yeah, these are the tutorials I used. Because, obviously, I had to learn somehow. But yeah, so specifically for the PNG model art, I used BugBug's tutorial on how to make a VTuber model. And then in terms of actual learning to rig, I used Chipico's guide on how to learn how to rig using Live 2D Cubism. And so if any of you out there, feel like making your very own model, I highly recommend these resources. My girlfriend's also trying to make their own model. I don't know if they'll ever stream necessarily, but they are also wanting to make a model after they saw me make mine. So, and I recommended these to them as well. So I actively recommend both of these guides. They're amazing. And yeah. Nope, just move on. Now, this is more for my YouTube audience, specifically. Speaking of, is there anyone on YouTube? Doesn't seem like it. Okay. But yeah, so, this is more for my YouTube audience. Which is the good old question of, why a VTuber now? Because if you don't know, I actually did a lot of, quote-unquote, FleshTuber content. I have actually been making content on YouTube for approximately 7-8 years or so. And so, this is the first batch of content I made, the basically first year, which was mostly just gameplay and things like that. In fact, it was entirely gameplay and then some stuff with my girlfriend at the tail end. And that's when I first started. I made my first videos. My first video was ever uploaded on November 16th, 2017. And going up until January 14th, 2019 was the last upload of this particular era. During this time, I went by a different name on YouTube, because I thought I had to have a fake, YouTuber name. So I ended up going with, at the time, Pokesonic Fan 12345. And then we'll get to the next era, but that was Pokesonic Fan 12345 era. And then I renamed myself because my mom at the time kind of convinced me, because I had searched up my name, and basically I found there was another random kid that had the name Pokesonic Fan already. And so I decided that, in terms of not confusing anything, because he did technically have the name first, I should probably change it to something a bit more unique. And so I went with the new name. The second name I went with was Gaming Dragon Machina. And then I eventually switched from Gaming Dragon Machina to Dragon Machina Tunes, and then eventually to Gaming Dragon Machina Tunes, combining the two. Because as you can see, I started doing animated content. And there's a story to that. I have always wanted to do content creation. This has always been a dream of mine, to be able to spread my creativity to as many people as possible, and just share my loves and passions with the world, because I kind of grew up as, stop me if you heard this one before. I kind of grew up as a bit of a loner. I didn't have many friends, and the few friends I did have weren't really the best friends. So I was kind of a loner growing up, and a big part of that was I was the weird kid. And even more than that, I was kind of the outcast of outcasts. Like, I was with the nerds, technically, but even they were always annoyed with me, it felt like. So, yeah, I was kind of the outcast of outcasts everywhere. And so my only real way to actually get my passions out was online. And so I always knew that I wouldn't like a 9-to-5 job. I wouldn't like a more typical job, because my mom had worked typical jobs all her life, and it made her miserable. And I knew I didn't want that for my life, so I decided to start doing YouTube. It didn't go anywhere. But, I've always hated my appearance as well. Part of it's because of bullying. Part of it's because I'm trans, if you didn't know. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on there. And so I never liked the idea of showing my face, but it kind of, it was kind of catch-22 in my eyes at that time, because all I had seen were, the really big creators like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, who, they had a YouTube following and they showed their face. So I assumed that was the requirement. That, like it or not, you have to show it. You have to do it. But even then, during a lot of my content, I just did voiceover. I didn't even show my face, really, for the vast majority of videos. However, at that time was when I found Storytime Animation. And so I was like, oh my god, there's a way I can still express what I want to express, but not have to show my ugly face on camera. And that's what led to the Storytime Animation era, where I did animated stuff, if you can't tell. And this kind of brings me to my goals/ideals with content creation, which is that, Blake, I have a cat, and she likes to jump on things and frick it all up. She was chilling, but then she was gonna try and jump down, and I don't need her to right now. But yeah, so, Blake will probably be a frequent occurrence. She has not enjoyed the fact of me picking up content creation, even more so than I was before. But yeah, so anyway. Where was I? Right, animated content. But yeah, so I was like, oh my god, there's a way I can, still share my voice, still do all the content creation things I want to do, and I don't have to, actually show my face. It seemed great. And so I tried it, and with how I view content creation, I'm under the impression that, good work deserves the rewards, right? You work hard, you get the gold, all that kind of stuff. Hard work get paid, all that kind of stuff, hustle culture, all that shit. And so, in my opinion, I was under the impression, I still am under the impression that, if I'm entertaining enough, if the content is good enough, people will watch it. And so when I already wasn't too happy with my art style, I'm still not, but I think that's just the nature of being an artist. But, with my art style there, I really didn't like it already, and the fact that I wasn't gaining any traction with the YouTube stuff really kind of cemented to me, okay, yeah, my art's just not good enough to do this or sustain this. So, yeah, that's kind of what led to that. And so eventually I was like, okay, well, if it was good enough, people would come. People aren't coming. Haha, I laugh at the fact that I said coming. but, you know, no one wanted to watch, so clearly it's not good enough, and I have to do something else. And so that's the technical origin point of me wanting to be a VTuber. Because it was around that same time that I had actually started to find out VTubers existed. But, at the time, all that I knew existed were the corporate VTubers. So that was like HoloLive. I think Niji Shanji was getting popular at that time. And so that's also the time that I kind of started to realize VTubers existed, but it was only as corporate, and even if you weren't corporate, the models still costed thousands of dollars. And so it's kind of one of those things where it just wasn't feasible for, you know, an 18 to 19-year-old to get their hands on a model. At least not without a lot of saving and a lot of luck. And so, ultimately, after that era, we get to what I call the crash out / depression / Austin D era. Because I still didn't like the name Dragon Machina, it still felt not quite right. And so I ultimately decided, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna have to show my face anyway, apparently, because the animated stuff isn't good enough. So I just went with my name. I just went with my normal actual name, which is Austin D. And I started to make content. And the reason why I call it the Crash Out and Depression era is because this is the era where I just completely burned out. Like, entirely. These are the different videos I have made of just canceling and restarting my channel. So yeah. As you can see, please subscribe, bye, I don't know what I'm doing, no, yeah. So yeah, here it is, by the way. The Flesh to VTuber pipeline. How I went from being a Flesh tuber, like I was then, to being an actual VTuber now. So my last upload was almost exactly a year ago. And that wasn't by choice, necessarily. It's just what happened to be my last upload. Am I good at Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And, then life hit. Life hit hard. Thank you, Pion Picari, for redeeming first. Thank you. But yeah. And then, welcome to the stream. We are currently going over who I am. Kia is here. Hi. That's right, I forget. You have a different streaming name than you do, or Twitch name than you do your other name. Your actual preferred name. Yeah, hi, Kia. Welcome. Hydrate. Oh, God. Okay. There, I hydrated. I have water ready. And actually, thank you for that. My throat was getting a little dry. Maybe that was coming through. Drown in self-care. Heck yeah. I love that. That's the same energy I give, so I appreciate it. But yeah, so as you can see, you came at a good time, Kia. Heck yeah, Sprigatito dance. But yeah, as you can see, you came at a good time. I just got done talking about how I used to be a Flesh tuber. I don't know how long you've actually been here, but I just got done talking about how I used to be a Flesh tuber, and basically it led to a lot of crash out because I didn't like how I looked and my content wasn't doing well and all that shit. And like I said, and as I'm getting to now, real life hit, and real life hit hard. My apparent last upload was, am I good at Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel? And then literally a week after I posted that video, because I had more videos planned at that time, but a week after I posted that video, I had my second eviction in my life. Hell yeah. And so, because of that, I had to move back in with family, and that was rough. And it took me about 6 to 7 months to finally get my own place again. And at that point, I was... Having had the 6 to 7 months to really think about my content and what I wanted to do, really kind of gave me the motivation I needed, or gave me the insights that I needed to kind of look at my content, look what I was doing, and actually, you know, to quote Uncle Iroh, look deep inside myself and ask myself the real questions. And so that 6 to 7 months was a lot of self-reflection. It was a lot of me asking myself, you know, what am I fucking doing? And it was a lot of me evaluating what I actually wanted my career to be. Because I really thought about, you know, if hypothetically my YouTube stuff, my streaming stuff, whatever, if it never took off, if I never got popular, quote unquote, if I could never do it as my career, would I still be happy? Would I still be happy doing this, making content, and whatever? And so I experimented a little bit with other potential professions. I tried to be a writer for a bit. I tried to do a bit more art, lean more into my art. But ultimately nothing seemed to click the same way content creation did. And it was kind of at that time that I realized I need to just do this. And the real pusher, the real kicker, and here's another thing about me, chat, that may not paint me in the best light, but I am extremely competitive as a person. And I feel like that sounds negative, because obviously when I think most people think of competition, they think of like, you know, Cinder. Anyone who knows that situation, you know, they think of people like that. But I'm not like that. And because the way I see competition is more of, if my friends are doing stuff, I want to prove that I can do as much as they can. And so that, and what was the ultimate kicker for me was actually one of my coworkers, because one of my coworkers actually also became a VTuber. Sadly, I never got their channel information, and I think they're actually still waiting on their model. But one of my coworkers actually also became a VTuber, and because they got an inheritance, and so they were finally able to afford being able to get their own model and stuff. And seeing that kind of really gave me the kick in the pants to be like, oh, well, if someone I know is getting into the VTuber stuff, why can't I? And so that finally gave me the kick in the pants I needed to make my own model. And so what you're seeing now in that little corner is me rigging. And that's just the head. It's super sped up as much as my editing software would allow. And that's literally 6 hours of footage right there. But yeah, so I'm just gonna keep letting that play. But yeah, and then, this is the funny thing. Kia, this is the funny thing, because I know you're from this. So I made my model, right? I had finally decided, you know what? I'm gonna make my model, it's gonna be great. I made my model within 12 days altogether. And as you can probably tell, it's a little rough around the edges. But altogether, it took me 12 days to make my model, including making the PNG and then doing the rigging and all that. And then, I kid you not, a week after I made my model, you want to know what happens? You want to know what happens a week after I make my model, Kia? And whoever else is in chat from the Iron Mouse server? It happened! The Bishoujo stuff happened. And so it kind of felt like fate, you know, like I said this at the beginning of the stream, but I am a big believer in, you know, angel numbers and like tarot and like, you know, random coincidences in life. And so, you know, it kind of felt like a sign from the universe when I literally just get done with my VTuber model, and then immediately there's a huge event to collaborate with people as a VTuber and, you know, help for a really good cause. Because I've always wanted to do charity. I've always wanted to help people. And so to see that happen literally within a week, it felt like, yeah, this is just what I'm supposed to do now. It felt a little too perfect, you know, one of those things. And so that happened, and that, of course, led us to where we are now. I met a bunch of really cool friends, and ever since then, I've been continuing to work on getting all this stuff together. So, yeah. So, the Mighty Mouse event was, what, 2 weeks ago? So, yeah. This model's 3 weeks old. I've not had it for that long. And I honestly kind of love it. But here we go. Now that we're done with the boring real-life stuff and the kind of sequence of how everything happened, it's time to get into the fun stuff. Now that we're done with the sad and the depressing and the crash out and all of that, it's time to get into the fun stuff. It's time to get into my design. Because this is the part I'm actually excited to talk about, because it's not actually about my personal life. Alright, so this is my design, as you all have seen. You literally see it on stream. And so the first thing I want to talk about is the color palette. So my favorite colors, and more specifically my favorite color combination, has always been a crimson/blood red, as well as a nice dark navy blue. And so when I was making my VTuber model, and I was like, okay, I need a color palette for this, using my favorite colors felt like the obvious choice. I don't know if that's how everyone picks their color palette, but that's how I picked it. Well, it's literally my two favorite colors. And then from there, it was just kind of, okay, well, I need more than just two colors. So then I was like, okay, well, red and blue make purple. So that inspired the dark purples of the design. And then the other colors are literally just made up by the higher saturation/brighter versions of my favorite colors mixing. And then there is one more color there, as you'll see. That's not just a neutral color, which is the turquoise eyes and the turquoise heart and the sword. But we will talk about that in a bit, because I have that later. But for the most part, my favorite colors were the inspiration for my color palette. Yeah, and then like I said, we'll get to why turquoise in a minute. Yeah, so here are some of my, now that we're through the color palette, the next thing I needed was, of course, actual inspirations. What did I want my VTuber to be? And so the first inspiration was, of course, a golden retriever. Because one of the things about me is I always at least try to be loyal. When someone's nice to me and I'm nice to them, I try to stick with them as long as I can. You know, I am definitely that friend that I can go months without talking to a person, and then they hit me up, and I'm like, yo, what's up? What do you need? And then on top of that, they're also speedy boys. Dogs tend to be pretty fast. And that's one thing I've always loved in just characters and media is speed. I like going fast. As I'm sure Kia can relate. Gotta go fast. And then, they're also really agile, which I wanted for my VTuber, because, you know, going with more of the adventuring aspect. Because that's the thing about me, I just like exploring. I like adventure games, I like exploring in real life. I like exploring, and I like to think my curiosity is one of my better traits. And so, you know, to explore as they do, you need to be extremely agile. And so that was the first part of the inspiration, was, of course, golden retrievers. As you can tell by the fact I literally have dog ears. The next thing that inspired it was the Black Rose Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! Specifically, they inspired my my tail and my armor in terms of design. I've got a name change. There you go. But yeah, so... And I like Black Rose Dragon because it destroys everything, and I feel like I tend to wreck a good amount, or at least I have the capacity to. And then, of course, theming. I knew I wanted to have roses for a theme, because... I don't know what it's been. I honestly don't know. But all my life, I've kind of been fascinated with the idea of roses, what roses symbolize. And so I knew I wanted to incorporate roses somehow into my theme in my VTuber. So, yeah, I decided to use Black Rose Dragon because it's my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card. More specifically, the spiky tail inspired my tail, as you can see wagging behind me. And then, it also inspired, like I said, my armor. And then, as you can see at the bottom, it also just looks cool. I like it looks cool. And then, of course, continuing on with the theme of roses, specifically a symbol that you've noticed if you start on my starting soon is my blue rose iconography, or not iconography. I think that's the wrong term. Symbolism, and it's because in terms of what they represent, blue roses represent self-acceptance. There's something that's unnatural, that's not supposed to exist. And yet, they exist anyway. And they are beautiful, but also never seen before. And I like to think and I like to hope that I can capture that kind of idea. Where I'm not necessarily something you'd expect. I'm not necessarily something that naturally comes out. But I'm here to vibe, and it has a bit of mystery as well. So moving on from there, we have, of course, my main body. This is without the armor. So, the first thing is, of course, finally getting to the turquoise, the eyes. The reason for the turquoise is my girlfriend. Basically, when I was making the model, I wanted a different eye color. Because I felt like it was already really heavy with the blues and reds and the purples. And so I wanted to give the eyes their own unique color to make them stand out a bit more from the rest of the model. And the reason why I chose turquoise specifically is because turquoise is my girlfriend's favorite color. And so that's why it says I love hers. Because I love my girlfriend, and so I decided to make her favorite color my eye color. Because I needed another color. So yeah. And then, of course, we have my hair. My red hair, some people have wrongfully said I am not a redhead. It's meant to be a reddish brown. But I don't really care that much. It does look kind of red. I admit it. But yeah, so, and that's based on my quote-unquote old self-rep avatar. Which is whenever I would have to draw myself, I would draw myself with extremely long hair for no fucking reason. Because I love long hair. I have kind of long hair in real life. It's just not as long as the VTuber, because the VTuber in my self-represented avatar literally goes basically down to their knees, whereas my real-life hair only goes down to my waist at most. So, and then, of course, the thumbhole sleeves, which is based on my actual IRL fashion, as you can see there. And, you know, a little jokey, censored because VTuber now. But as you can see, that is just my real-life attire. That's just what I wear. All except for the skirt, because I just do not own a skirt yet. I want a skirt, though. And then we have my favorite part of the model. My tail. I love my tail. It's so unique. I love it. Or at least I feel it's unique. For the tail is where I get a lot more of the Rose Dragon inspiration. Because it's meant to be, you know, the dragon part of my design. And so I really liked the interwoven, like, plated look of the Rose Dragon. And so I tried to make it look like, you know, its petals coming off. And kind of forming the tail. In that same vein as petals coming off, it can shoot spines. Which is my channel points redeem, if you haven't noticed. Over here in the corner. Because I can shoot spines out of my tail. So that's one of the unique things I can do. inspired by Stormfly from How to Train Your Dragon. I think so. The one the Viking girl uses, the main girl uses. But yeah, so I thought that was a cool little feature to add, because it's not a feature I see on a lot of VTuber designs. There's a lot of dragons, but they don't really lean into like the spikier end of things. And I really like my tail. I feel like it's really unique. It's my favorite part of my model. It just kind of is a thing I tried, and I love it so much. Sadly, though, it also is a nightmare for any potential artists. So I do not envy you, people who might want to draw fan art, and I will not blame you if you decide to disregard the tail, like hide it, the same way I try and hide hands still. And that brings me to my armor, which is, of course, the plates. And there is a reason to the plates. Or the shoulder pads, I should say. It does look a bit goofy. I will admit, it is a bit goofy. It's a bit much. But there is a specific reason to it, which is that, there's 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the reason why it's 5 is because those are all the years I spent as, in my quote-unquote crash out era, like I talked about earlier. So it's all the years I spent struggling with life. It's all the years I spent trying to find a way to accept myself, find my own place in the world. And so it's 1 shoulder pad for every year that I struggled, effectively. And then, I really like hearts. I really, really love hearts. And so, just in general, I like hearts. I like drawing hearts. And so, of course, I needed to add hearts into my VTuber design. And so I thought having the kind of heart clasp holding the armor together really solidified that kind of design. Because 1 is just a heart, lets me draw a heart, yay. But it also, I feel like, helps symbolize, a strong heart, a heart that's been battle-tested, because it's literally holding together the armor. So yeah. And then, of course, on my model, as you can see in my actual model, it sits right about where my actual heart would be. So yeah. And then, of course, we have my gauntlets, which you can barely see in the model. But I really like these. They're based on a mixed inspiration. As you can see, I tried to go for a heart design. But I also liked the kind of I was trying to incorporate more dragon stuff. And so inspired by the kind of Imperial gauntlets from Skyrim, I went with a similar design where it's a draconic-esque symbol on it. And then I designed it after a heart. And as you can see right here, more specifically, it is designed after the Kingdom Hearts heart. Because I really like Kingdom Hearts. Yes, very lore heavy. But yeah, so I really like Kingdom Hearts. It's adorable. It's adorable. It is adorable. I love Kingdom Hearts. It's such a fun franchise. It is one of the franchises that helped me feel not as alone as a kid. And so I really wanted to, because the thing about Kingdom Hearts as well is, I live my life by a Kingdom Hearts quote. I feel like that's cringy. People have tried telling me it's not as cringy as I think it is every time I brought it up, but I don't care. I still feel like it's cringy. But I literally live my life by the quote from Kingdom Hearts, which is, may your heart be your guiding key. It's why I joined the IDF event. Or the Iron Mouse event. It's why I continue to be a VTuber. It's why I do what I do now. I literally just follow my heart. I let my heart be my guiding key. And I try to see how things work out. Sometimes it works out for the best. Sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, so that's why. So I wanted to take from the dragon inspiration. And then also do the kind of loop-in effect of the Kingdom Hearts heart. So I did that with the horns. And then, of course, I got some fan art, like I said. Credit goes to Misagi for the one on the right, I think that is. Yeah, I always confuse my left and right, I'm sorry. Misagi did the one on the right. And then Cookie BA I commissioned for the one on the left. to be inspired by more Zelda, to kind of capture that more explorer aspect. Both of them are amazing artists. Go check them out if you haven't already. But yeah. And then, oh yeah, I forgot I included this. Some artists are great, but not every artist is. I forgot I included this in the presentation. So this is the Scam Com. This is, I saw somewhere that every VTuber needs to be scammed at some point, and I got scammed hard. So this is the Scam Com. As you can see, we agreed. I think I included it here. Yeah. Well, I included it later if I didn't. But, because I got an ID card. Basically, this was one of the Twitter artists. The ones that, pop into your DMs and are like, hey, can I show you my work? And they just so happened to have the ID card com, which was $60. And, which I've since found out, this isn't even worth $60. All of the artist friends I've talked to after this have said that they would have at most charged me $20 for the same work. So, yeah, scam. Scam from the outgate, because it's already overpriced. But then, on top of that, they did some subtle shit that I didn't pick up on until later. Well, I picked up on it, but I didn't want to say anything, because I didn't want to be rude. But yeah, so they had me pay an upfront amount, which was $30, half the price. And then that should naturally mean it's $30 after that, right? Right? Because 60 minus 30 is 30? No, the next thing they charged me was $40. So in total, already at that point, I had lost $70. And then after that, they asked for a $10 to $20 tip. I was an idiot. I gave a $20 tip. And so, in total, it was $90. And so, a com that was already overpriced, they then overcharged me, effectively, $90 for. $30 extra than I had paid. And honestly, I could accept this. I wouldn't be as mad about this com if it would have stopped here. Genuinely. Because, okay, fine. $10 extra is whatever. And then, I did choose to give them the $20 tip, whatever. What pissed me off, though, was this. They decided to tell me something. The thing is, you actually paid me up to $90 on the ID card, and since yesterday, I've been thinking, what if Austin gives me 10 more? So I can be at an even 100. So they admit, because they said before, you already know my ID card commission is 60. And so they said before it's 60. They admitted I gave them 90, which is $30 above the commission price. And then they have the gall, the fucking audacity to ask for 10 more on top of that. So that kind of pissed me off. That pissed me off. But moving on from that, here are my powers and abilities. I don't think it's super worth going into, honestly. But we can because I kind of talked about some of them already. Tail needles, of course. I can shoot 3 different types of needles. The blue is representing my dog side, my mother's side, in my lore. And so the blue represents my dog side, which is speed, which is where I get my speed from. The red represents my dragon side, so the more destructive side. And so so the red needles are piercing. And then the purple needles are a balance of the two. It's more so representing me. And so the purple needles are a balance of the two, where they're both really fast and really strong. And then we have, naturally, my VTuber has enhanced speed, which is partially because, especially as a kid, I was always praised for being able to run really fast. I've never understood it, but apparently I run fast. And then I do have some slight pyrokinesis from being a dragon. I can manipulate fire. Sadly, I can't breathe it. Not yet, anyway. But I do have some slight pyrokinesis. I'm still working on it, though. So if anyone would like to help teach me how to enhance my pyrokinesis, that'd be great. And then, getting into the not quite as powers, but more so just things I've picked up, is general combat experience, swordsmanship, of course, because I use a sword for combat, and then semi-wind manipulation, because I move so fast that I can just manipulate the wind around me because of my speed. So yeah, that's kind of my powers and abilities, or at least my VTuber's powers and abilities. And this isn't an exhaustive list, but the other powers are going to be things that are revealed and honed later in my lore. Because yes, I already have ideas of how to expand this shit. And so I need to take a sip of water first. Moving on from my VTuber, it's time to get more into Moi. And so, or rather my likes and dislikes. And so, my likes. Literacy. I was going to put reading and writing on here, because that's just true. I like reading. I also really like writing or typing. And so I decided to just, instead of listing them as two separate things, I just bunched them together into literacy. So I love storytelling, I love typing stuff out, I love reading. So, there you go. Which, looks a little funny next to my dislikes. Because I say I dislike proper grammar, which I do. I feel like the quote-unquote proper rules of grammar is just kind of stupid. And I feel like it doesn't represent how people actually talk and say things. So I hate proper grammar. I hate that it's like the golden standard for whatever fucking reason. And, you know, I much prefer not using proper grammar. I still like typing, like I still use commas and all that, but to a certain extent, I kind of go for the vibe of like, if you know what I'm saying, it's fine, right? And then, I also really like music. I love music. I love all kinds of music. Stupendium does a lot more of the, like, nerdcore rap, semi-rap kind of stuff. And then there's Dan Bull, Skillet, Set It Off, are kind of the bands I like. But I just like a lot of songs in general. Pretty much any music I'm down to listen to. I hate the radio, though. And that's mostly because growing up, I had the car radio, which played the same 2 or 3 extremely basic generic songs on frickin' repeat. So I don't like radio. I don't like live radio, but that's just how it be. And then, of course, if you haven't picked up on it yet throughout this entire stream, and the fact that I drew my own VTuber, I like art. Oh my god, the artist likes art? Are you kidding me? What I don't like, however, is generative AI. I feel like that one's self-explanatory. My favorite drink is sweet tea. I love to drink sweet tea. Not really much more to say about that. I just like sweet tea. I don't like alcohol as much in real life. My VTuber is an adventurer, a medieval adventurer. They drink constantly. They definitely frequent the good old tavern. But me personally, I don't like alcohol. I'll drink some of it. I'll drink it if I'm out. But generally, it's not something I seek out. I don't really like the taste of alcohol. It needs to be more hidden for me. In terms of favorite foods, I like almost anything chicken. Throw chicken in front of me, I'll probably devour it. Unless you just, like, you know, completely ruined it. But I don't think anyone would ruin it. You know, pretty much anything chicken. Fried chicken, chicken breasts, chicken nuggets, especially chicken nuggets. McChickens, literally anything chicken. Chicken strips. I love pretty much anything chicken. Put chicken in front of me and I'll be a happy camper. And then, I don't like bland food, however, but I think that's kind of self-explanatory. Who likes bland food? And then we get on to games. I'm not really a fan of shooters. Gotta be honest, I don't love shooters. I've tried shooters in the past, and I'm not opposed to them. If someone wants to give me a shooter, especially if it's something I can play with friends, I'm down to try shooters. It's just not my preferred genre of games. My preferred genres are more in terms of the platformers, the RPGs, turn and action-based. Action-adventure games, of course, and then single-player. So think like Final Fantasy, Fable, Kingdom Hearts, Skyrim, Mario, Sonic, you know, Mega Man. And then I do generally prefer single-player games, but I also love playing things with friends. So there you go. Oh god, I forgot I added this part. Now for some faves. You guys get to judge me. You guys get to judge me heavily for this. Because now it's time for some 3x3s, baby. So first off, we have a 3x3 for my favorite games. These are my favorite games of all time at the moment. These are subject to change. They probably will change. But, yeah. The first one is Wife Quest, which is a 2D platformer. That's really silly. It's basically about a girl whose husband gets taken by a bunch of waifus. And so she's trying to beat up all the bitches trying to take her man. I love it. It's so fun and adorable. I really want to play it on stream sometime. I just gotta schedule it out. I gotta figure out when I want to play it. And then, of course, there's A Hat in Time. Another goofy platformer, but this one's a 3D platformer. Wife Quest is a 2D platformer. Hat in Time is really fun. I like Hat in Time. It's just a fun experience, and it's definitely a game I go to just kind of goof around for a few hours. And then there's Spider-Man. Spider-Man. I've always been a big Spider-Man fan, and I think Insomniac Spider-Man is really good. I've only played a touch of Miles Morales, and I haven't played 2 at all. So that's why those aren't on here. Even then, I've heard they're not as good as the first one. So, yeah. But I really like playing Insomniac Spider-Man. It's been fun to play. And then of course, Celeste. I like 2D platformers, and I'm part of the LGBTQIA community. So of course I love Celeste. Celeste is fun. And then, of course, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Why is my thing loading? Oh god, is everything okay? I just saw my cursor load. Now I'm scared. No, we seem fine. We good, chat? I think we're good. But yeah, so, my next favorite game is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I couldn't really put one over the other. Because honestly, to me, the way I see it, I see Tears of the Kingdom as a more fleshed out version of Breath of the Wild. So to me, they're kind of the same. A lot of what makes them both good and my favorites kind of just applies to both. So I put them together. But they're really good. And speaking of, tomorrow we will be playing all of Breath of the Wild. We're going to be getting all the shrines if we can, all the towers, and all the memories, and then of course all 4 divine beasts. We're gonna get the Master Sword, and then obviously beat the game. So yeah, that'll be a fun thing tomorrow. You'll see me doing a lot more gaming tomorrow. Today is just unfortunately the get to know me. I love Doki Doki Literature Club as well. Made my mom concerned. But, because fun fact, I found Doki Doki Literature Club before it was popular. And so literally, I was just browsing for dating sims, and I found Doki Doki Literature Club. And I was like, oh, this looks like it's a cute little dating sim. You know, woo some characters, it's nice and simple. If you know Doki Doki Literature Club, let's just say I was in for a surprise. And then, of course, I'm a huge Pokemon fanatic. My favorite Pokemon game is Pokemon Shield. I really think Sword and Shield are the best Pokemon games we have so far. It has its flaws, of course, but I do think that game is the actual best we have so far in terms of just capturing the vibes and feelings of Pokemon and what Pokemon is supposed to be. And then we have a game that's near and dear to my heart, because it's the first game I ever completed on my YouTube channel. And it's a game that I've just loved for what it is. Angels of Death. It's a RPG Maker horror game. I really like it. It's really fun. Go play it if you haven't. It's really... I might play it on stream again, just to expose more people to it. Because it's really fun. I enjoyed it. And then, of course, I said I like Kingdom Hearts. So I gotta put my favorite Kingdom Hearts game on here, and that's Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I love it. I love Ventus. I love Aqua. I love Terra. And their story is so unique, and I love the fact that you can actually play as all 3 of them. Instead of, you know, the other trios where Kairi does nothing. Oh god, and then we have my favorite manga. Oops. So now we have my favorite manga. This is Watakoi. This is actually something introduced to me by my girlfriend. If you don't know the story of Watakoi, it's, actually, I can grab the title. Hold on. Maybe you can lose track for a second. Because I actually have all these manga. They exist on my shelf. Well, almost all of them. I want to have them all eventually. But am I tracking again now? Because I know I probably lost it. Yep, I'm tracking now. Okay. Good. But yeah, no, specifically, the title is, Watakoi, Love is Hard for Otaku. And it's a really cute story. I really like it. It's more of a comedy than it is a romance. But it's really cute. I really like it. It's basically about 2 childhood friends that re-meet in the office. The girl is a huge fan of yaoi, basically. And the boy is a much more professional like as a person, but he's also a really deep otaku. He likes games and such. And then we have Ibitsu, which is a horror manga. I really liked it. It was a really creepy story. Basically, it's about this goth Lolita girl that is insistent upon being a little sister, and then kills the family she's with. But then makes everybody else believe that it was just because her family was really horrible. It's a nice story. It involves a lot of manipulation, a lot of twists and turns. I really like it. Really cool. And then, of course, Madoka Magica. I'm not saying any more. If you know, you know. Madoka Magica. And then we have Bleach. I don't have a preference either way between manga and anime for Bleach, but Bleach is just one of my favorite franchises in terms of anime. But, you know, it's what got me into anime as well. Because my brother had the first few seasons on disc, so I was able to watch. So that was my kind of first exposure to anime, knowing what anime was. And so, like, Bleach was kind of my introduction into the world of anime, and I couldn't have asked for a better introduction. It was so good. I love it. And then we have Other Side Picnic, which is another really fun story. It's a kinda isekai? Sorta? I mean, they do go to another world. Whoops. I shifted my whole desk by accident. They kinda go to another world, but they also come back a lot. I think there is a point. I think I just got to a point where there's a chance to get stuck there, but they haven't yet, really. They almost did, but they haven't. And so it's really fun. I haven't fully finished reading it, but from what I've read so far, it's really fun. I have the first 3 volumes. And then you have Spider-Man Fake Red, which is a manga based on Spider-Man. Because like I said, I just really love Spider-Man. And Fake Red is a story about a Japanese boy that finds Peter Parker's suit and quickly, when he's abandoned it. And so it kind of plays on the second Spider-Man movie vibes. I'll be like, oh, he abandoned the suit. And so, and basically this random kid takes up the mantle of Spider-Man and has to deal with some of Spider-Man's worst villains. It's a fun little story. It's a fun little one-off. And then, of course, we have Full Metal Alchemist, which, fun fact, I haven't seen the anime for. I've read the entirety of the manga. My high school, actually, had the entire manga just available. And so I grabbed it volume by volume, and I read through it, and I found it to be a really great story. I loved it so much, and I want to get it myself one day to actually own in my own possession. And then, of course, we have Komi Can't Communicate, which, if you don't know, it's about the main girl, Komi. She is extremely shy and has really bad social anxiety, can't even talk to people. But she has the goal in this new school of making 100 friends, and the boy right there is her love interest / best friend. And so he's going to try and help her achieve her goal at all costs. And then, of course, we have the Pokemon Black and White manga, which really is just all of the Pokemon Adventures manga. All of the Pokemon Adventures manga is really good. I read almost all of them that existed when I was younger. And they're really great. I love them. They're such a cool take on the Pokemon world. A much more realistic and grounded take, and I love it. Also gets really dark at times, which I really love. It's not afraid to actually go to the dark depths of the Pokemon world sometimes. Specifically, I really love the characters in the Black and White Adventures manga. I feel like there was a really cool thing with the Mana having to eat his thoughts so he can actually clearly think, which, let's face it, is just ADHD. And I really love it. I really loved it. So if you had to only check out one, I recommend either the very first Pokemon Adventures manga with Red, or the ones with Black and White. But that brings me to my favorite anime, which is, there's a good amount of crossover. Because obviously Bleach is still here, so there's no point in talking about Bleach again. Pokemon is still here, so there's no point in talking about Pokemon again. But we'll talk about the rest. Free Ren. Needs no introduction, I feel like. Free Ren is just a really popular anime. I really like it. I really like how it takes the idea of a fantasy adventure and kind of flips it on its head a bit by being like, no, the adventure's already over. We're done. And it's just kind of what happens after you beat the Demon King. And I really like that take. I really like how that delves into that. Which is kind of funny, because it's right next to Inuyasha, which is the original isekai as far as I'm concerned. Kagome, of course, gets trapped in another world. It's another one that needs no introduction, really. Especially if you're an old school anime fan, you probably at least know about Inuyasha passively. I really liked Inuyasha. It was really fun. It was really cool to watch. And I really liked the characters. I still have yet to check out the sequel to it. I have some of the manga for the sequel series, Yashahime, but I just haven't looked into it yet. I haven't actively read it yet. And then there is, of course, A Silent Voice, which holds a special place in my heart, because I actually watched A Silent Voice with my girlfriend, and it's both of our collective favorite movies. Well, okay, I guess I shouldn't say necessarily favorite movies, but it is an anime movie that we watched together, and I really cherish that memory. And it's just a really good story as well. Delves into a lot of topics about mental health and, of course, people with conditions, and how much more of a struggle people go through, and how kind of just ultimately gives the message of be kind to everyone, because you don't know their struggles, which is something I, of course, really vibe with. And then there's, of course, Turadura. I really like Turadura. It's a classic for me. I used to literally watch it every Christmas. It was my Christmas watch list thing. And it's just good. I like it. It's a bit of goofiness, a bit of romance. I love how it all works out. And then I really like Ruby. I literally have a foam replica of the Ruby scythe. And so, of course, I absolutely jumped onto and adored Ruby Ice Queendom when it came out. I feel like it's a really good derivative take on Ruby. And I love the art style. I love everything about it. So good. I love it. If you're a fan of Ruby especially, or even if you're not a fan of Ruby, because it does kind of go over a lot of the main points again anyway. So if you like Ruby, especially the first few seasons of Ruby, go in there. Watch it. Watch Ice Queendom. It's amazing. And then there's Assassination Classroom, which I just really like. I like the tension. I like the alternate take on a classroom setting, where it's like, yeah, it's a slice of life, but we're also just trying to kill the fucking teacher every chance we get. I really like it. I really like the plots that they try and go through, and how it goes through each of the characters' thought processes, why they want to do it, and what they're kind of trying to do. And I love the character of the teacher, Kuro-sensei. I love how he's just trying to do his best for his students, genuinely, even while knowing they're all trying to kill him. It's really fun. I really like it. I think it's cute. And then we have Lucky Star, which, I just like the humor in it. It reminds me of a podcast. I just really like it. Not really much to say about it, though. I really like it. And then I've already talked about Pokemon enough for one stream. I can talk about that later on a more dedicated stream. And that's kind of it. So this is where it's time for some good old audience interaction. Do you guys have any questions for me? Anything that my slideshow did not answer, or anything that you might have missed for those that came in late? What other questions do you have for me? We do have one more thing after this, because, of course, we went over where I've come from. We covered what I'm doing now. And so we are going to be looking into my future. But we're going to take before we do that, before we look into the future, I want to answer any more questions you guys might have. Whether it be about me, about my past, whether it be about my lore, my VTuber stuff. Any questions you guys have, feel free to ask it now. I don't think anyone has any questions. Did I do a good job covering it all? You guys have no questions? Am I just that goated of a streamer that I answered everything correctly the first time? You don't need any more explanation? Here, I'm actually going to transition away to my just chatting. Hello, everybody. So yeah, like I said, any further questions? Any questions for me? Any questions about me? We're just kind of vibing. We're not done yet. I do want to clarify, we're not done yet. There's one more thing we have. But sadly, it might have to wait. Because I don't even think it's published yet. Because, like I said, I wanted to cover my future as well. And so, I said that in the title, I said that in all of the places I promoted it. I want to look at my future as well. So, while I'm on the lookout for any questions you guys might have for me, and it can be about anything. It can be about me, it can be about my VTuber, any questions you guys might have. But, like I said, I went through my past, I went through where I am currently, and so I feel like it's only right to kind of cap this stream off looking into my future. And so we're actually going to end this on a tarot reading. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about that while I wait for questions. I really believe in tarot readings, because I alluded to it earlier already. Because I don't believe in randomness. Everywhere you look, nothing is truly random. There's always some influence or something that causes things to happen, right? And so, I really just don't, and even in computers, right? Like, yeah, there's random number generators in computers, but at the same time, they go through an algorithm to determine whatever result it does get. So even in computers, it's not truly random. And so it's just kind of a thing where there's no evidence for true randomness existing in the world. And yeah. So it's an interesting thing to think about. And so that brings me into tarot, and why I believe in tarot so much. Which is that, you have a deck of cards, right? Let's say you have 100 cards, and 10 of those cards have pee-pee poo-poo written on them. Something, and then you shuffle the deck, shuffle it up, change it up, whatever, cut it, maybe, I don't know. And then you pull a random card off the top. Except it's not random, like we said, because randomness doesn't exist. So something determines what that card is. Something determines whether that card is going to be pee-pee poo-poo. And of course, most people will say, like, oh, well, there's 100 cards and there's 10 pee-pee poo-poo cards, so it's a 10% chance that it's going to be the pee-pee poo-poo. But what determines that you've actually hit that chance? It's the whole thing with luck, right? Where if you're really lucky, you might hit that 10% chance every single time. If you're really unlucky, though, you might try 1,000 times and never once hit that 10%. And so, in a world where we have no evidence for randomness existing, something determines what card ends up on top. Now, of course, I can't say what that thing is. I don't have any specific beliefs. I consider myself agnostic atheist, at least at the moment. There's some religions I'm looking into, some belief systems I'm looking into. But for the most part, at least for now, I consider myself agnostic atheist, which means I don't subscribe to a specific belief system, but I do believe that there is higher powers at play. And so, because of that, and so, like I said, something determines what card ends up on top. And so, it's a wonder. It's a mystery. What is the thing that manipulates it the dealer themselves? Is it spirits in the room being channeled into the cards? Is it some kind of random deity from above pointing out and being like, yes, those cards. I picked those cards. I don't know. I can't say. But what I do know is randomness doesn't exist. My phone went off, sorry. My phone shined. But like I said, what I do know is randomness doesn't exist. And so something is determining those cards ending up on top. And I've had too many cases where tarot has been like 99% on the money to not believe it. I'm actually going to look now if there's a specific tarot reader I like, because he reads intuitively, which means he doesn't necessarily go by what the cards say or have on them, but he goes by the feelings he gets from the cards. So, and he had one for he does it based on star signs, the zodiac. And so the one for my zodiac is supposed to be releasing today. I don't think it's released yet, though. I think it's still going to be another 15 minutes or so. Yeah, it's releasing at 11. That's okay, we can wait. Yeah, it's releasing in 16 minutes. So you know what? We can be here for it. I'm just going to go ahead and bold this, because I don't necessarily need their chat here, too. Can I not full screen if it's... Oh, I'll just X out the chat. It's fine. Switch this back over to Gameplay Collab. So you can see... and yeah, this title is scary. Because we already covered my past before. And it says, Leo, you're giving it one last shot, and it pays off. So already, just in the title alone, it's kind of on the money. Kind of. But we have to wait for it to go live before we can actually watch that. But this is going to be the last thing we end off on. Is just, you know, because like I said, we covered the past. Going in, we covered my present. So now it's time to see what the future holds. Yeah. So we're just waiting here. So like I said, if anyone has any questions for me, now is the time while we have a minute. Or if you need to, you know, go to the bathroom. If you need to take a little breaky break, that's fine. In fact, I'm going to do that real quick to stretch. I forgot I muted myself. Don't worry, I didn't say anything too important. Welcome back, everybody from the BRB. I hope you got some nice stretches. Hope you went to the bathroom if you needed it. But yeah, this is how we're going to end it off. Usually his readings are about 20 to 30 minutes. So, yeah, I'm excited. And like I said, this is how we'll be ending off stream. Because like I said, we looked into the past. Or I talked about my past, I mean. We saw my present, where I am now. And so now we're going to talk about my future via tarot readings. So we'll see how this works. We're literally just waiting for the premiere to go live. I should actually probably turn off the music if we're going to be listening to him. Well, yeah. So let's see what he has to say. Premiere will begin shortly. I want to full screen it, but I have to wait to full screen it till the video is actually playing. Come on. This is where my impatient side comes out. Come on, clock. Turn around. Turn to the next minute. You got this. Okay, now it should be going. You're moving it shortly. It should be starting now. I don't think... Yeah, okay. Well, apparently we have another couple minutes, chat. God damn it. Get your questions in. So if you guys still have any questions for me, you can still absolutely talk to me. Let's see what the future has in store, shall we?
Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the rest of 2025. I almost said 2018, so you might want to think back to whatever was going on in your life in 2018. There might be, something in that for you. So, whenever that happens, usually there's something. By the way, each one of these rows is going to represent something different, kind of like those deep question readings I did. In your first row is going to be what you need to hear right now. You have this wife and engagement card and this news and messages card. Again, as always, this doesn't have to be like marriage. This could be your commitment to something, which I'm pretty sure comes up for you often, Leo, that there's something that you need to commit to. And, this could be like a project, a business, an idea that you have, a way of living, your health, whatever it is. It's like you need to, kind of like make sure that you're fully committed to whatever you're working on. You do have the Four of Wands here, which is also marriage, but also it can represent commitment as well. So I think, making sure that you're fully committed to whatever you're doing is probably going to be the thing that makes you the most successful at this time or at the end of the year here. So, definitely something that I would focus on. In your first row, again, for what you need to hear right now, you have the Two of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, and the Nine of Wands. The Two of Pentacles is like work hard, play hard. So I definitely get that energy for you here, Leo, where it's like if you're working hard, I think you should also be balancing out the energy and, making sure that you're playing hard so that you can get, just benefits. And also, we're kind of in that time where we need to be careful of like not wasting our energy, basically. So, I kind of get that feeling for you here with that Two of Pentacles. It's like sometimes, I feel like Two of Pentacles is spinning plates. Sometimes I think it's a good thing to spin plates. Sometimes I think it's a bad thing, right? So it's like sometimes in life, it's like, yeah, we have no other choice other than, sometimes we have to, right? It's like sometimes we have to. And sorry, like everything is moved around in my office here, so let me fix it. But anyway.
I've been thinking about his comment about 2018. Yeah, no, 2018 is when I started doing content. That was my first year of content creation. Interesting.
It's like sometimes we have to, but I kind of feel like you're in a time where the energy is asking you to kind of like pick one thing that you want to focus on right now and, make that one thing your focus, whether it's in business or love or your health or spiritually. Like I would pick one thing at a time here. I also think that the universe has been trying to say to you, Leo, that there are many things that like produce a better result in your life. Like again, in work, business, pretty much everywhere. And I would be really making sure that you know what is working in your life, right? And I would examine that in all areas of life so that you can double down on those things that are working. You have the Two of Cups. Definitely could be love here if you want it, clearly. I mean, you have the Ten of Cups. You have the Empress. We have the Four of Wands. These readings have been pretty good for love, this set of readings for the end of the year here. As I have said many times in the past, this part of the year is, I think, pretty good for love. I don't necessarily think it's perfect. I just think we have better opportunities if we choose to take them. But again, we have to go and get these opportunities. It's not going to just magically happen. So, you have to do things to make it happen. But it definitely exists. So, if you want it, it looks good. I would get out there and get it. You have the Four of Wands, and then you have the Ten of Cups right next to it. So, literally could be meeting an admirer or a person that could lead to marriage and family in the future if that's what you're into. So, again, I would definitely go for it with that card. You have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands says don't give up, right? Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior. Nine of Wands wants you to keep pushing ahead. He's kind of taking one last chance at something. And I do feel that energy for Leo for sure. Like, I think a lot of you are definitely in a time in your life where you literally are. Like, I don't usually feel that on the Nine of Wands. Like, to me, the Nine of Wands is just a card of perseverance. I don't really look at it as, like, taking one, like, literally that last chance, if that makes sense. But that's kind of what I feel for you here. It's like there's like you're doing something, you're giving something one last shot, whatever it is. And, we go up to the Temperance card, to the
VTubing. Because genuinely, VTubing is my last idea to actually make content creation fun for myself. And that's not talking about success or growth or anything. That's just literally just how I enjoy it. Because in my years of content creation, especially the last 5, my biggest issue has been I haven't found a way to make content that I actually enjoy it. Like, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy coming up with ideas for content. I still enjoy the idea of like putting my creativity into it. But something about making the content itself always felt wrong in some way. And so yeah, he's entirely right. Doing this VTuber thing is kind of my last shot to make content creation work for me. Because genuinely, if I still don't like doing stuff as a VTuber, that's probably just going to end up being my last sign, being like, okay, then if even this doesn't work, this just isn't for me then.
Six of Swords. Temperance is a card of alchemy, turning one thing into another. So, Temperance kind of says that you are the one that's in control of your situation. You can turn a negative into a positive. You can turn a positive into a negative with the Temperance card. The choice is yours. But I kind of feel like you're going to be doing something like giving something one last shot here, Leo. I might have said this to you recently as well. But, it feels like work to me. It's like something money related. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Pentacles here. Knight of Pentacles kind of says, like, what are you waiting for? He has those empty fields behind him on the Knight of Pentacles. The whole point of the Knight of Pentacles is progress. He needs to plant seeds in that field behind him, and they will grow. So I feel for a lot of you, it is definitely a time of, making progress, planting seeds, doing things to, make progress. And, that's what I would be focusing on with that Knight of Pentacles. With the Page of Cups, you have the Two of Wands. Yeah, like I said, you're gonna have to do things you've never done before to find love if you want it. The whole point of the Two of Wands is that he has to leave his castle. He has to get out of his house, right? He has to go somewhere. He has to go do things to find that love. Like, he has to get into the world. And I feel that for a lot of you. But I also do feel, I feel pretty good about this Knight of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, the Empress showing up here, Three of Pentacles. We're only getting, we only just started, Leo, and we're seeing a lot of what I would consider to be progress cards, Six of Swords as well. So I feel that you at the end of the year here, you could be making a lot more progress than you have all year combined. I definitely think there is like an opportunity for you to do that, and no one else has had a message like that with this in this set of readings. So again, I would, this could mean that you're like getting motivated. Like you're gonna have to do things to make this happen. But I think you maybe could be feeling very motivated, and I would like capture that energy and make sure you're doing extra things to stay motivated, to keep making progress and all that. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Nine of Cups, which is great. Definitely could be some sort of fulfillment or wish fulfillment coming in for you if that's what you're into, if that's what you're looking for. I think you're getting into alignment. I think you are more in alignment with your goals. You're much. Sometimes I think when we're just more focused on the things that we want, it's maybe not easier to get them, but those things. But they can come to us a little bit more easily, and I feel that here. Next, we're going to look at what are you outgrowing at this time, I should say. You have this Cobra card that says Divine Awakening. You also have this card that says Seek Assistance. I don't think you're necessarily outgrowing an awakening.
Seek assistance, huh? I'm not even gonna. If you know, you know.
But I do feel, the Cobras can kind of represent a trance, being stuck in a trance, or, having to deal with something like that. And maybe that's what you're breaking, is some sort of trance in your life, or something that has, kind of been holding power over you for a long time. And so I do feel like it's almost like you are setting yourself free from something here, Leo. And, one thing I will say is that you do have the Four of Wands here. The Four of Wands is definitely a card of freedom to me. You have the Page of Pentacles, the Temperance card, and the Four of Wands, again, in the area of what you're outgrowing at this time. And the Page of Pentacles is a card of studiousness, so it makes sense that the Page of Pentacles would come up, because usually, if we are learning something new, eventually we know everything we need to know, and that's it. We can move on to the next thing, right? So a lot of you could be releasing, that kind of like this stage, if that makes sense. The learning stage, and now maybe you're getting into like the action stage on something, or
I mean, Depends how you want to look at it. um, I don't think I know everything about VTubing yet. I definitely don't. There's a lot that I still got to figure out. Am I a lot smarter than I was before all this? Yeah. But do I know everything? I don't think so. I don't know.
Something like that. The other thing I would say here, Leo, is like I think it would be worth it to educate yourself on something as well. So even though this part of the reading is meant to represent something you're outgrowing, I do get this feeling here for you where it's like if you're learning a new skill, or like if you're training yourself on something, I feel it would be very valuable for you, like whatever it is that you're training yourself on, or whatever you're learning, or whatever you're educating yourself on. That's what I would be.
I let's just say it's really accurate so far. There is. I'm learning how to sing. Turns out I've been singing wrong my whole life. Um, yeah. It's a bummer.
Doing with the Page of Pentacles. So yeah, there you go. Like I would keep learning. I think one thing that I will say here, Leo, is you always get these cards of potential. As a matter of fact, you always get the High Priestess with me, and she shows up at the end here, which is really funny. The High Priestess is a card of full potential. And like I think we're in a time of potential, but again, potential means nothing. Potential means what we put into something is what we're going to get out of it, right? So it's like if you're learning something new, I think like it has a lot of potential, but you're going to have to get it, extract that potential. You have the Temperance card. The weird thing about this card is I feel like you're just letting something be broken. I don't know. Sometimes there are things in life we just can't fix, right? It's like, if you take a ceramic plate and you broke it into literally a billion pieces, it would be impossible almost for you to get that back together as it originally was, right? And so, it's like sometimes there
IKEA.
are things in life that I think.
We are just I explained this a little bit, but we are on to the stage of watching Terra now. We went through my past, we went through my present. We are now seeing what my future holds. So yeah, we're seeing what my future holds, and so far it's been scary accurate. Basically, he said so far what he's gone through. Just to kind of recap a little bit, is he said 2018, because he said he accidentally confused the year for 2018. He said that might mean something. And sure enough, looking back, if you look at the name of the video, you're giving it one last shot and it pays off. 2018 was the first year I started content creation. That was my first full year of content creation. And then this VTubing thing is kind of is my last chance to make content creation work for me, because it's kind of my last idea to make it work better for me. And so that's kind of where we're at now. Talked about learning a new skill, which yeah, I'm learning to sing, but I feel like that's more like I feel like I'm always trying to learn new skills. So I think he could have said that at any point. But yeah, so that's where we're at
Are
right now.
broken. I don't even know what the hell this is talking about. Do I think it's good? Yeah, yes, I think this is a good thing. Like, I think sometimes we just have to realize that some things in life can't be fixed. This feels very general to me, so, I feel it's going to be different for all of you, but definitely that was literally the message that just popped into my head when I picked up this card. It's like you're just allowing something to be broken. Again, this isn't like a judgment thing or anything like that. It's like sometimes, like if this is a person, it's like maybe that's what we have to say sometimes with a person. Like sometimes a person is broken. And again, I'm not criticizing any of these other people, right? But it's like sometimes people have a lot of traumas, and maybe we shouldn't, we're not here to fix anyone, right? We have to fix ourselves. And so it's like maybe we have to just let those people go sometimes and say, you know what?
I can't say anything, but I just need to ruminate on that for a second. I just need to ruminate on that for a second. Yeah.
what, I just need to
Pitter
release this
pat, pitter
person with
pat.
love, and they need to take care of their own stuff, right? But I don't even think this is love for most of you. I think it's just something. Next, you have the Four Wands. Yeah, setting yourself free. You know, there have been a crap ton of freedom cards in all of these readings. And so, you know, the Four Wands is about crossing this threshold or this finish line. Like finishing something up from the past and crossing through the threshold, getting to the other side here and celebrating with these other people. Definitely, I think would be a good thing for you to do right now, Leo, is celebrate with these other people because, you know, or to like finish something up and get to something to the next stage. Because I don't know, I just think it would be a good thing. Like, as a matter of fact, I just looking at this part of the reading, the second half, we'll call it, even though I don't know, technically this is the second half. You know, it's like it just seems to me like there's something that needs to get to its next logical step, but it's not. This could be love for some of you. You know, I will say King of Pentacles has been coming up for a lot of people as well. King of Pentacles energy can be a little bit slow or boring or whatever, but like at first, but usually they're very good in love. And so, you know, again, this could be love where it's like it needs to get going. Let's see. Yes, with the Page of Pentacles, you showing up here in a very, you know, whenever you show up as yourself, puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading with the Strength card here. So this could just be talking about you showing up in a strong position, getting a lot of attention, standing out, you know, things like that with that Page of Pentacles, which would be great. I also feel like there's like some sort of return to stamina. You know, it's like I feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Meeting everyone, return to stamina, yeah. Meeting everyone, seeing everyone's project, seeing what everyone's up to has really motivated me in a way that I never expected. And there's a lot more to that motivation too, but it's stuff I can't really talk about super publicly. Um, but to kind of keep it brief, a lot of people I've met struggle. And knowing what they go through, knowing what they push through, and the fact they're still making content, the fact that they're still going through what they do, and are still able to stream relatively regularly, post relatively regularly, all of that, it really solidified to me that that I can do better, that I should be doing better. So yeah, no, he's absolutely right about that too. The return to stamina.
You know, I feel like this last third of the year, you know, it's like the last third, the last 3 months. What is that? September, October, November. So October, November, December. I don't know. I'm a dummy. I don't know what date it is, right? But what I would say here is like the last third. So maybe not like right this second, but you know, once we October-ish time frame, I really feel like something is changing for you around that time where you just feel more energetic and, you know, ready to go.
Keep that in mind, chat. Keep that in mind, chat. Because we will be judging this later. This is for the rest of 2025. We will be looking back on this. October. There's going to be. Apparently, I'm going to get a lot more energy. Something's going to happen to me. That's going to make me a lot more motivated in October.
Now, I think just intuitively, I feel like this is going to continue through 2026. Like, it feels to me like maybe you have lost your stamina this year, 2025, maybe even, you know, before this year, but it's like returning, you know, which is obviously good. Even though this is the area of the reading of what you're outgrowing. With the Temperance card, you have two cards. You have the Ten of Swords and Temperance. So, you know, again, I think that the Ten of Swords can say something from the past is dead, done, over with. Something is broken. How funny is it that I basically said that? Ten of Swords says something is dead, done, over with, and then you go to the Six of Swords, which is about moving on to calmer shores, just choosing to release something and move on, right? So, there you go. With the Four Wands, yes, you have the Fool. Definitely a time to take some sort of leap of faith towards something that you think might set you free. That's the time.
A leap of faith. Doing something I've never done before. I wonder what that could be, chat.
We're in Uranus. We had Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is now in Gemini. I don't care. When a major planet goes through a sign, we are learning the lessons after we have to implement those lessons. So even though it's not still there, we are absolutely still implementing the lesson. So, what I would say here is like anything that can make you feel more free, and especially you as a fixed sign are going to get a lot of benefits from doing that, from working with that fixed Uranus and Taurus energy. and part of that means being more flexible, which has nothing to do with being fixed, right? But definitely a time to do that. Next, we're going to look at one move that would change everything for you right now. You have this Bear Tree card. It says, don't waste your energy or efforts on something that is clearly not bearing fruit. Yes, Ten of Swords, Temperance, Six of Swords. There you go. That's like the move you need to make. You have the Stag Spirit. Says, you are meant for great things. Trust in all that you have to offer. I'd also say take the lead, right? I think that the Stag Spirit can represent getting into this energy of being a leader or taking advantage of leadership opportunities. And I would definitely do that with this card. You have the Six of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Cups. Six of Swords can be moving on to calmer shores, can be heading towards improvements. Definitely could be a lot of improvements here with the Six of Swords. I do feel progress, like quite a bit in this reading. So a lot of you are either doing things to make progress or the things you are doing are helping to make progress in your life, which of course would be great. I do feel like just forward movement as well. I really almost don't feel this is saying anything. Again, we're looking at one move that you could make that would change everything. It's like, yeah, this is part of this row, but, I kind of feel that you're just moving on to calmer shores. I don't really feel it's talking about that. You have the Nine of Swords. I think one move you could make right now that would help you get ahead the most would be getting out of your head. Nine of Swords says, how many times do you have to keep trying the same thing over and
The fact that that's the one piece of advice I've fucking gotten lately. Everyone tells me that. Everyone tells me I need to stop overthinking shit. God damn it.
over and over again, and it's not working, right? Anything in your life, that you're trying to manifest or create or do, it's like, I think your approach needs to change here. I almost feel like a more leadership approach or a more aggressive approach to something would help you get answers. Like, I think it's just intuitively, this is what I feel. It's like, I feel like it's a time where you need to get those clear answers and accept those answers. It's like, maybe you need to go to, like, if you want to raise, for example, maybe you need to go to your boss and say, I want to raise. What do I need to do? And if your boss says there's nothing you can do, it's like, maybe, and we're not given raises, then maybe that's your answer. Maybe it's time to accept that and start looking for something else, right? And so, it's like, I hope that makes sense. It's like, I get this brutal honesty with yourself type of energy off this Nine of Swords, or at least that's what it's saying to me. And, I think that would be the best move for you. It's like same thing in love. It's like, I think people torture themselves, like wondering if a person is interested. Like that used to be the number one question I used to get all the time. People would ask me, like, is this person interested? And like, should I talk to them? I'm like, well, I would always say yes to those people, no matter what, even if the outcome was negative, because it's like, what are you going to do? Just like wait and never find out? You're just torturing yourself. It's like, you should just ask. And if they say no, then you can move on to the next one. If they say yes, great. Now you have your answer, right? It's like, I get that feeling here where it's like, you need to stop torturing yourself on something. You have the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is fortune after difficulty, happy home, happy family. Good things happening after a difficult period of time. So definitely improvements coming in for you here, Leo. I feel like there could be... I also get good news here, which, didn't I say that earlier? You have the Page of Pentacles, which kind of is a good news card. So I do feel there could be some good news coming in here. With the Six of Swords, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, definitely some sort of change in your fortunes here. Like, I feel this is naturally happening. It's kind of weird that, like, I think the one step you need to take here is the Nine of Swords. That's it. I don't think this... Sometimes I do a reading, and I would say I read intuitively. I don't try to force a reading to say something that it's not going to say, right? And so it's almost like I feel like these two cards are just general. Like, I feel like they're not answering this question. What's one move you could make that would change everything? They're not really talking about that. I think you just are doing things with this right here that is going to change things for you. It's like you already are on the path of, changing your fortunes, and which is great.
Chat. I wonder what that path could be. I wonder what I've been working toward for the last month. What I spent 12 days doing that then led into certain things a week after that I've then been working on for the 2 weeks since then. I wonder.
With the Nine of Swords, you have the Emperor. Can't make it up. Take the lead. Literally said it. I literally said it with that stag spirit, and you also have the Emperor and the Empress right here. This could be love, if you want love, for sure. Could be a Taurus. Could be any sign. This is a general reading, so you have a little bit of everything here, Leo. So it could be any sign. But if you're looking for love, I would definitely say, I'm not saying you have to tell this person out front that you're in love with them, but like I always say to everybody, you could probably flirt more or something, or just get it over and done with and say it and stop torturing yourself, right? With the Ten of Cups, you have the Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles says teamwork makes the dream work. Three of Pentacles also putting your work on display. I said this I can't remember exactly what I said at the beginning of the reading.
Putting my work on display.
I said something about you, or maybe I didn't. I could be making this up in my head, but there could be a lot of opportunity and work involving attention. Again, especially, I probably have said this in past readings, that Pluto in Aquarius, I think, is going to be great for you getting
opportunities in work involving attention. And I'm going to dignify that with a response. On your work.
You have the Three of Pentacles twice here, and then as your outcome here as well. Three of Pentacles is getting recognition on the work that you've already done, so really good. Next, we're going to look at what blessings are coming in for you at this time. You have this Listen card and this Love from Creator card, so there definitely could be love from the Creator coming in for you. And this, to me, would say maybe you feel like the universe is listening. It's like the universe is delivering on something that you've been asking for here, Leo, which is great. You have the Empress, the King of Pentacles, and the King of Wands. The Empress says you are very attractive at this time, so I would definitely put yourself out there, Leo, if you're looking for love. And if
Okay. I'm not looking for love. I am in a happy relationship. But that is kind of interesting because any time that it has come up, I have thrown myself in there, my PNG out there for smash or passes. I've gotten a worrying amount of smashes. I've gotten a worrying amount of smashes. So, chat, you've heard my story here today. Smash or pass?
If you want it. Your last row is going to represent love. We'll talk about it, but, again, I'll say that. I definitely feel a lot of abundance here, but again, I don't think there's necessarily magical abundance coming in for you. I think this is, based off of work that you've done or work that you are doing right now. I would also say that there's a lot of potential in work that you could be doing. You might
work I'm doing right now. I'm going to stop.
Be becoming interested in something. And it may take, I know people don't want to hear this, but, it may take some time to build up whatever it is that you're becoming interested in, but it would definitely be worth it, is what I'm getting here, so I would go for it. You have the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands. I do think this is one person, basically. I feel like maybe you see this person like this. The King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is very good. King of Pentacles can definitely be a very solid connection that lasts for a long time. I always say King of Pentacles type people usually want something that lasts. They want to build something that lasts as well. But they can kind of seem a little bit slow. I don't know. I again, just tapping into this person's energy. Yes, I think they're slow. It's I think maybe they're slow at picking up on signs and symbols and synchronicities in connections and things like that. So I don't know if you are flirting with a person right now, especially if it's an earth sign or another fire sign here, then it's maybe they're slow. Could also be a Pisces. You have this High Priestess, and as a Pisces, I can tell you Pisces are completely clueless. It's everybody says Pisces is very intuitive, but I think when it comes to Pisces using their intuition on themselves, they're completely lost. So there you go. You have the King of Wands. King of Wands about taking lead, being bold, being assertive. It's like I think you need to trust your future vision as well. Like if you have ideas for the future, you really need to trust those futuristic ideas. Especially with Pluto and Aquarius. I think that's going to benefit you, Leo. You being your opposite sign. I think it's going to benefit your like innovative abilities, your abilities to like literally innovate, but also like invent new ways of doing things and find success. With the Empress, you have the Empress. So very attractive at this time. Could be attracting a lot of abundance as well. So, again, if you're looking for love or anything like that, I would get out there. I can't make this up. With the King of Pentacles, you have the High Priestess.
Yeah, is that your sign?
Could be a Pisces. It also could just be a person where there is a lot of potential. But again,
was that your sign,
is like
Kia?
The curse of Leo. I don't want to call it a curse. I just think maybe this is the challenge that Leo has been dealing with for like a year,
usually,
and will continue to deal with probably. And again, it's not really a bad thing. I think that it just. There is something about potential in Leo. I don't know what it is. It's like maybe it's time for you to reach your full potential on something. It also could be saying that there is a connection that has a lot of potential. But again, potential means what you put into something. And obviously, if it's involving another person, what they put into something as well. So, again, you're going to have to pay attention to that. But a lot of potential here. Mm-hmm. With the King of Wands, you have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands, like quick success, quick conclusions, charging forward towards momentum, building momentum. It is an amazing time for people, I believe, to build momentum. It's like one of my favorite things to focus on right now. So yeah, that I would definitely focus on things that create momentum. Next, we are going to look at what will happen to you for you in love at this time. You have this Call Your Ally card. It says loyal, powerful, capable, and guide. Literally could be attracting a person that's a guy. This might not even be love, Leo. I mean, you could love this person, but more in a platonic type of way, right? So you could be attracting a person who's a guide, a mentor, something like that. But also
a guide and a mentor. I can tell, but I felt so called out by that. I mean, you said it's about clueless about yourself specifically, so is it true, Kia? You tend not to know what you're doing with yourself? I kid. I was gonna say something about what he just said. I forgot what he said now.
Even be love, Leo. I mean, you could love this person, but more in a platonic type of way, right? So you
Right. Mentor that you love in a platonic way. Yeah, that's definitely happened.
You could be attracting a person who's a guide, a mentor, something like that. But also could be love. You have this reframe card that says reflect, shift perspective, and discernment. I think everybody needs to do this. I talk about this all the time. We had these weird Scorpio cycles since like the 70s, and that's when divorce like peaked, right? And now those cycles are kind of like ending. I believe, this is a personal belief, it's not like intuitive or anything like that, but I do believe that love has changed since 2023. And you might be saying, Chris, what are you talking about? Love is worse than ever. Have you been out here on these streets? Yes, I was born on the streets. That's what you all need to realize, right? I grew up on the streets, okay? So yes, I've been out there. I understand what it's like. But one thing I will say is, to use a cliche, which, normally I only use with Cancer, but I'll use one with you. It has to get worse before it gets better. And, I kind of feel like that's a stage we've been in. It's like we're seeing a lot of what we don't want, and things are changing, and things are getting better, and we just need to realize that we're all being directed to, kind of focus on what we do want. And so I think it is a great time to reframe love and things like that. Mm-hmm. Again, I think that maybe some of you need to heal as well. Like if you are not, this is not a bad thing. Again, I think that if you are feeling like you want love, but maybe there's some blockages, Three of Swords isn't necessarily a bad card. Like, yeah, sure, it can represent a heartbreak. But number one, I feel for you intuitively that you could be fearing a heartbreak. That's clearly why something is too slow right here. I feel it. I see it. I felt this for you for weeks. Something is too slow. I don't know. I feel like I've said this to you before. The other thing I would say is that it's an excellent time for healing, the end of the year here. Pretty much this last quarter, right? I think would be a great time to heal. And so, yeah, I mean, anything you can do to heal, rest, relax, recover, I think would be a good thing for you to do. And I would do it. You have the High Priestess. Yeah, the High Priestess is about trusting your intuition, but also reaching your full potential. And you always get this card with me, or you get the Ace of Pentacles. And, we're always talking about this with you, Leo. So I think that there's, like, some potential that you could be reaching, but it's like you have to really do it, It's like you have to really go for it. And I pretty much would. You have the Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles can say teamwork makes the dream work. So I think for a lot of you that you have to focus on working on a team. Especially in love. Like, I really do feel that we are in a time where we could be attracting people where it's like we do have similar goals. But there's one thing I want to say is that we are also in a time where I feel like we could be attracting people who are very different than what we would normally go for. But at the same time, it's like parallel paths, if that makes sense. So I think and again, we're all different. So some of you will be attracting someone who probably is your usual type. But I think for some of us, it's like maybe we're attracting people who are very different, but maybe the vision, the goal, like where the relationship is going is very similar. And, I think that's what you need to realize. But let's that just did not work at all. So let's try that again. With the Three of Swords, yes, you have the Tower. I think this is a fear, is what I would say. I feel like you are fearing that something is going to be a Tower moment. That's why this is so slow, like whatever is going on here. But it's like a Tower moment that you shouldn't even be worried about. Like, I feel like this is in your head. This card actually came out in reverse. I don't read reversals, but, it is kind of interesting. With the high, here we go. Two of Cups, yes. Like, if you have a person on your mind right now, like, yes. And you cannot make this shit up, Leo. I literally said different than your usual type. These two cards, the Two of Cups is usually someone who is different than your usual type. So there you go. With the Three of Pentacles, you have the World. Yes, some sort of accomplishment or achievement. You definitely need to get out into the world. We were saying this on the Two of Wands right here. So I think you definitely need to get out into the world as well. But I don't know, Leo. I kind of like this reading for you. So a lot of good stuff going on here. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.
All right. Well, that was interesting. Definitely hit on a lot of points. But yeah, this is Minopon Tarot. If any of you want to check him out, see your own sign maybe, because I know we're not all Leos in this world. But as you can see, he literally has one for every single zodiac. So you can see what your zodiac is, and you can go see what he says about you in your future. The rest of your 2025. He also does more than this. He does them every week or so. Like, this is his more weekly ones. This is his more... And then he has, like, some for every year. He's good. Like I said, you just saw what he does. His whole thing is tarot reading. So, yeah. He's fun. Chatting is the one I want to go to. I keep forgetting how I have things labeled. But, yeah, with that, let's recap the notes, because I did actually take notes. October, apparently I'm going to get a boost of stamina, so we got to watch out for that. He gave us a date. Don't waste energy, brutal honesty, and good news may or may not be coming. That's the gist. Nah, but seriously though, throughout that, he did hit on a lot of points, a lot of interesting points. Definitely a lot of stuff I'm gonna have to think on. But yeah, so, with that, we are at 2.5 hours. That's kind of my typical plan. I do hope, friends, all of you, will be able to come join me tomorrow, because tomorrow I will be doing a Breath of the Wild. I'm playing through all of Breath of the Wild tomorrow. And yes, I mean all of it. My goal is a 12-hour stream, roughly. So we're going to be going through all 4 Divine Beasts. We're going to be getting the Master Sword. We're going to be getting every single tower. And then, of course, every memory. And if we have time, we're also going to go check out every single shrine. Yes, it is a great game. That's why I want to do this. It is literally one of my favorite games on my 3x3. Is this the game one? No. This is the game one. Right here. Oh, that's not on stream. That's not on stream. Womp womp. Yeah, there it is, Kia. In my 3x3 of favorite games. It's literally right there in the dead center. Breath of the Wild. But yeah, so that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. Like I said, my goal for that is a 12-hour stream. It should be pretty fun. I'm going to be pulling random people in. to a VC so I can hopefully keep me entertained. Because roaming the depths of Hyrule, because roaming the various expanses of Hyrule is going to get pretty lonely pretty fast. So I'm going to be bringing in people as I do it. It's going to be fun, hopefully. So that's what we're doing tomorrow. But for now, we are done. This is going to be more of my typical streams, 2 to 3 hours. So let's go ahead and find someone to raid. Who's live right now? Let's see. Let's boil it down to similar size. We want to support our fellow small people. Is anyone I'm following? Damn it. Okay, wait, what if I take that off? Alara is live. Similar size, maybe. We'll find a random person. Kia, are you going live soon? Actually, that's a good idea. Let me check the Discord. Because people are just now going live in the Discord, then we can just go to someone on the Discord. Nope, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'll check my Discords. We'll see if anyone fun's going live. Come on. Come on, Discord. It's gonna be mad at me, isn't it? God damn it, I'll have to look it up on my phone. Enjoy my wallpaper while I pull up Discord on my phone to see if anyone's doing anything. Oh, looks like there has been a post in this server. That's not anything. Okay, oh, hydrate. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's going live. So, at least not on the Discords. So, we're just gonna raid a random person. Huzzah. We'll do similar size. And let's look at... Here, let's look at more VTubers specifically. Filter by tag. I want VTubers. I specifically said VTuber. There we go. Apparently there's only one VTuber similar to my size. Here, we'll just go ahead and uncheck that. You know what? Why not? We'll rate them. They're similar to my size. They could use the support. So we're going to be going to raid Simply Senna. Of course, remember to read their rules. They might have different rules than me. They probably will, because my rules are weird. And we're going to go raid them. Once it loads. I do not have a raid message, unfortunately, so just let them know I sent you. Start raid. Can I unmute your stream?
So enjoy, and I'll be back. Be back.
Wait, they're BRBing. That's funny. Well, This is awkward. They're just gonna come back to a few viewers. It's fine. They're gonna come back to a raid. It'll be okay. Alright, raiding now. Let them chill. Hey, people, what's going on? Am I still live? Oh my god, I'm still live. I thought that would have automatically ended everything.